Welcome, Teacher April.
Next property is the inverse property. So in addition, we have the so-called additive inverse. So for any integer a plus negative a is equal to 0. So kahit anong number, when you add by its opposite or inverse, the answer is always 0. For example, 10 plus negative 10. So positive 10, what is the inverse? Negative 10. So if you add the two numbers, the answer is 0. So negative 2 plus 2 equals 0. So positive 2 is the inverse of negative 2. So still the answer is 0. So the opposite of the given integer is called its additive inverse. Therefore, the sum of a number and its additive inverse is equal to 0. For multiplication, we have the so-called multiplicative inverse. For example, 3/4. What is the multiplicative inverse? We have 4 over 3. About 1/2. So 1/2. The multiplicative inverse is 2 over 1 or 2. Let's say, for example, negative 5 over 7. So, the multiplicative inverse or the so-called reciprocal is 7 over negative 5. Okay? So, for any integer a times its multiplicative inverse or reciprocal is equal to 1. For example, 3 times the reciprocal of 3 is 1/3. When you multiply the two numbers, the answer is 1. So that simply cancel 3 and 3. The product is 1. Next, negative 5 times the reciprocal or the multiplicative inverse. We have 1 over negative 5. Still, the answer is 1. So just cancel this. Will give you positive 1. So, the reciprocal of the given integer is called its multiplicative inverse. So, therefore, the product of a number and its multiplicative inverse is equal to 1. Another property is zero property and distributive property. For zero property of multiplication, we have for any integer a times 0 is equal to 0. Sa madaling salita, any number multiplied by 0 is equal to 0. For example, negative 98 times 0 is equal to 0. 0 times 12 is equal to 0. So, kahit anong number, kapag minultiply mo sa 0, ang sagot ay 0. And that is zero property. Next, for the distributive property of multiplication over addition, for any integers a, b, and c, we have a times the quantity of b plus c equals a times b plus a times c. Example, 6 times the quantity of 4 plus 8 equals 6 times 4. So, ang 6 minultiply sa first number over addition, which is 4. 6 times 4. Next, 6 times 8. So, si 6 minultiply sa second number, which is 8. Okay, so let us simplify. Bring down 6. 4 plus 8 equals 12. 6 times 4 equals 24. 6 times 8 equals 48. Next, simplify again. 6 times 12 equals 72. 24 plus 48 equals 72. So, both sides are equal. Okay, next. Negative 5 times the quantity of negative 3 plus 10 equals negative 5 times negative 3. So, si negative 5 minultiply sa negative 3 plus negative 5 times 10. Si negative 5 minultiply sa second number, which is 10. Now, let us simplify. Bring down negative 5. So, we have negative 3 plus 10. So, this is addition of integers having unlike sign. So that is positive 7. Next, negative 5 times negative 3. So this is the product of two integers having like sign is positive. 5 times 3 is 15. Next, negative 5 times 10 are integers having unlike sign, so the product is negative. 5 times 10 is 50. Okay, so let us simplify again. Negative 5 times 7. So the product of two integers having unlike sign is negative. Multiply the number. 5 times 7 is 35. Equals 15 plus negative 50. So follow the rules in addition of integers having unlike sign. So subtract the number. 50 minus 15 is equal to 35. Copy the sign of the greater absolute value. Negative. So, negative 35 is equal to negative 35. So, adding first before multiplying or distributing the factor to each other will give you the same result or answer. For learning task number 2, you're going to complete the following to make a true statement. Then, determine the property applied. So, sasagutan nyo muna yung mga missing number, then sasabihin ninyo kung anong property ang ginamit. For example, 5 plus 9. So, 5 plus 9 equals blank plus 5. So, what is the missing number? The missing number is 9. So, tingnan mabuti. 5 plus 9, 9 plus 5. So, changing the position of the number. So, what property is that? That is commutative property. Okay, next. 3 times the quantity of 2 plus 7 equals blank plus 21. So, meron tayo ditong sagot na 21. Saan kaya nang galing? 3 times 7. What is the missing number? The missing number is 6. Galing sa 3 times 2. So, what property is illustrated? That is distributive property. Okay, next. 0 plus blank equals negative 18. What is the missing number? The missing number is negative 18. So, ano yung property na ginamit na nalamin lang si negative 18 sa 0? So, that is additive identity. Bakit siya additive? Kasi ang operation mo is addition. So, that is additive identity. Property. Okay? So, it's time for you to answer 1 to 10 on your module. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Bye-bye.